All right, everyone, we're going to be breaking down the Borderlands 4 trailer live in this one. We're going to see how long we can turn this 2 minutes and 24 seconds into. I'm just going to kind of do this as I go along. So if I miss anything, definitely be sure to let me know. I'm sure I will miss a couple things. So drop a comment down below so we can try to continue spreading the excitement. Because I'm very, very excited for what we've seen so far. Starting off, it just begins where the previous trailer ended, where Elpis basically crashed into this planet. Somebody finds the Psycho Mask, and we actually get to see who finds it here in just a second once we get to it. Zooms out a little bit. This could be what I assume is going to be the brainy boss, the timekeeper, but I think it's a different character, which we should see here in literally 1 second. Right here, the hand looks very similar to what actually grabbed the mask, and also the person's going to have the mask. But this, I guess, race right here seems to be just a race specific to the homeworld. They almost seem like the bandits or the scavs or something of this planet. As you see, we do get that same mask. Borderlands mask goes on there, the Psycho mask, I should say. And then the eyes light up red. So this almost makes me think it's some sort of mind control thing. I don't particularly think it's that, because all the other enemies also have red eyes, but maybe it's just to like insinuate that, like, yeah, they're controlled by this other big bad right here. This could also potentially be maybe a good character, because I'm not 100% sure if the people they're fighting are the bad characters. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. There's clearly a war going on. I don't know which side is the preferred side, but this is obviously going to be probably a pretty important character. Potentially could be a boss. She definitely has the very scav, I guess, like junker type vibe going on, and clearly all the other people are listening to her at her command. So again, definitely going to be a pretty important character, at least for this scene. But as you see, all the other enemies here, they do have very like distinctive looks. They're not like all the same, but they do have that similar, like, there's something red glowing on them, kind of like the bandit's eyes were, or the psycho's eyes were. And there's another psycho mask right here too. So I'm not exactly sure if they just got a plethora of these psycho masks dropped down from Elpis. But they're all heavily themed around like being psychos. Maybe these are people just from Pandora that have came over to this planet. By the way, the planet is called Kairos, or Kairos is Kairos. I probably mispronounced it, but that's what this planet is actually going to be called. And they actually end up looking up right here. You can see Elpis. This is when Elpis has actually crashed, broke that barrier. It seems to be some sort of Viridian homeworld. Obviously, there's other people here too. But speaking of Viridians, here is what I assume is going to be the war from what the pre-sequel was talking about. Potentially not, because I'm not 100% sure, because obviously the Viridians look a little different here. This is obviously some sort of alien. This could potentially not have anything to do with that. It's just something going on here, but this may be the giant war that was obviously hinted at in the pre-sequel. We have a whole bunch of basically a new form of Viridian soldiers. They kind of look like Thrall from Destiny in a way, just very like high tech. We have some other beast looking enemies, and the guy right here, Loki, looks like the guy from Tales from the Borderlands, the first one. And then we pan up here, this giant, rock formation. It looks absolutely sick. Like, the graphics from this just look incredible. And then we get a look at our new, what I assume antagonist is going to be, and this is the Timekeeper. That's what their name is officially going to be. Not exactly sure what role they're going to play in this. Again, I don't really particularly know what's going on between these two. Obviously, there's two factions that are going to be fighting each other, and I don't know where we're going to come into play with this, but they also have a mask, and they end up crushing it. Probably just for symbolism, that we're just trying to get rid of it. But they start to go into war. It is just an all-out war, which is absolutely sick. I feel like you don't really ever see stuff like this in Borderlands too much, so this is just dope to see in general. And then Borderlands 4. So obviously, this could be the intro, maybe, or because I mean, I guess this could happen mid-game, but like, I feel like this is gonna be some sort of intro just to get you into the game, kind of get you set up what's going on. Now we got to get to some other destinations. This destination has a very swampy theme look, I guess, with like a little bit of cyberpunk-esque to it. There's nothing really noticeable here. I can't particularly see. I'm sure there's probably some like loot chests around that you might find if you look super, super hard. It seems there's like a little green light over here, which could potentially be a new U station or just some sort of checkpoint in general. I'm not 100% sure, but none of the posters right here seem super recognizable to me. So I think that's about all that we can get from this specific frame. Now here, obviously this is a very like junker theme yard. This is probably going to be where that other faction is taking place, or at least like the main person with the giant arms. It seems like they're going to just work off the land. Essentially, they low-key look like servitors from Destiny. I know we kind of already made a Destiny reference with the thrall, but I think it looks pretty sick here. Again, nothing super worth pointing out. There does seem to be like a little lootable like bin there. I'm not 100% sure what that is, but it does have the little green light on it. But yeah, just overall looks like a pretty sick destination. There was a very, very quick pan here of another destination. They really, really went past this one. There's Elpis up there that's cracked. Obviously, it's crashed. Very, very snowy themed area. There is a bridge here with the light coming out of it. I'm not, this will probably be a playable area. I'm not 100% sure, but this does seem like some sort of like mountain range up here with some stuff coming out of it. So it almost sounds like an Atlas theme vibe to it in a way, but I don't think that's what it is, unless that's just going to be, they have a setup here or something. But now we get into what I assume is going to be inside of those mountains, because this does have a very similar look to what was on the other like mountain peak over here. Like, again, kind of like that Atlas theme look. I assume this is just going to be like inside of it. That's probably why they panned to it really quick before they showed that. And now we got to do dancing with what seems to be legs on his shoulders, and he doesn't have a body going on. I don't know what's going on here, but he's hitting that thing, right? He's breakdancing. I don't think there's anything too particular on the environments he's in. I mean, I think this is just supposed to be a little funny thing. Getting back over to this does seem like a very villainy theme area. It kind of has, the Atlas look in a way, but I definitely think this is something different. Again, I don't know if there's actually going to be, a bunch of brand new like weapon manufacturers and stuff with this. Later on, once we get into the actual gameplay of it, there does seem to be some familiar stuff, but again, just kind of showing off some areas here. We have a dude just chilling under his umbrella. This just seems very Borderlands themey to me. Although there does seem to be a little point back here on the wall right here, which I'm going to assume is a grapple point, which you'll see later at the end of the trailer. We are actually going to have grapple hooks now, which is very sick. I mean, grapple hooks are just so fun. Now, this is obviously some sort of generator room, I would say. Like, there seems to be some central power source here with some pipes coming out of it. Maybe that's like an ammo crate up there in the top left, and there's obviously some lootable thing right here. Probably just gives you some ammo or some cash or something. Again, this just kind of showing off some areas right here. This is obviously a new enemy. It low-key has like a Mollywand vibe to it. So maybe that's gonna somehow bleed into this new planet. Literally don't know what this enemy type is at all or where we're at. There's really nothing in the background either that kind of gives it away. This seems to be almost some sort of like shrine-esque type thing, maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but obviously this is in some sort of, cavern or maybe mountain or something, and maybe some like hideout. Maybe this is going to be like the main hub, because it doesn't seem to be like very enemy density, and it does seem to just kind of have like friendlies walking around, so maybe this is going to be like the sanctuary. Don't know, obviously, but we'll have to wait and see. I could definitely see like us running up there to get quests, maybe down here to do some other stuff, but I mean, it could just be an enemy filled area. Again, next up here, we're going back to this location. We do have a very psycho themed mask here again, but there was really, I guess, nothing too specific here. I'll go back real quick. There is a middle finger being flipped off right here, which is pretty funny. But yeah, again, nothing like too specific on like what this character is. But now we get to the really good stuff. We get to the 4 Vault Hunters. Well, what we assume is the 4 Vault Hunters, but it's 4 characters walking around. This is for sure the 4 Vault Hunters. Now, I don't particularly think any of these characters are going to be what we've already seen. There may be some lore ties in here. I've seen some people think this might be Ava, but I don't particularly think it's Ava, but this is for sure going to be the Siren. I mean, they have the Siren tattoos and everything. I think the guy over here is definitely going to be the stealth type guy, or maybe the equipment type guy. We actually do get to see what his action skill is at the end of the video, which I assume it's going to be his character, but they do show an action skill. This is for sure going to be tank melee guy. I don't think they're going to make the Siren the melee character in this game. Like, I mean, my man is built like a truck. He has a robotic arm. You could probably get some augments or something for that and just, punch people like crazy. And then we have what I assume is just going to be the soldier type character. She has a very like mercenary themed look, I would say, especially like with the armor here, kind of like the big gloves. So this is for sure going to probably just be the standard like soldier character. I don't know what they're going to do to introduce anything new, because obviously with Mose, they kind of gave her the mech. We went from a small turret to a very upgradable turret to a mech. So I don't know what the marine action skill is going to be. Obviously Siren is going to have some sort of magic, and I imagine melee guy right here is just going to go crazy now. And I wonder if we're going to have multiple action skills. I don't know if it'll just be one like the other Borderlands games, or if it's going to be like Borderlands 3 and I guess also kind of like Wonderlands. But we will just have to wait and see. But just based off this, let me know what characters you all want to play. Right now, personally, just looking at this, I'm definitely leaning towards the Siren. If y'all know, I was a huge Amara fan, but I'm also really liking the melee guy here too, because melee in Borderlands is just always so fun. But moving on, I don't really think there's anything in the background here. It's just some more close-ups of all the characters. Again, obviously, they're like, yeah, they really want you to hone in the fact that those are the Vault Hunters. But we see one here, slams down. Again, like my man slamming down, causing like a little like, earthquake essentially. This is going to be the very in-your-face character. He pulls out a gun right here, which seems to be like a Maliwan gun. Don't really know where he's at in the background. That top looks a little weird. Now, what I assume is the mercenary here, and maybe this could be her axe skill, something like on her side. Maybe it's like a medic type thing. I know Roland had his like medic skill tree in Borderlands 1. Maybe potentially that's what this is going to kind of be. But this looks like a doll weapon to me. Obviously, there's a lot more going on. Like it's very like high tech. But it kind of gives a doll vibe off. I don't think it is a doll weapon because obviously there's like some crystal stuff going on here. But overall, I think it looks really cool. I don't know if it's going to be a legendary or not. Now we get to another fighting scene. This is going to be the dude who I think is going to have all the gadgets and stuff. As you see, he kind of has the little swords right here. Maybe it's going to be kind of like Zero. He's going to be like the assassin. He looks sick. It looks kind of like, I guess, Tron-like in a way. But bro just seems to be dodging bullets and he's just slicing away. We also see the Siren back here using like a double drum bandit pistol. It sort of looks like, I don't know, it kind of looks like it has a Vladoff barrel though. But another little loot crate back here, or ammo crate or ammo bin. We also have this giant enemy here that looks absolutely crazy. But moving on, now we get into some actual gameplay, like first person gameplay. First things first, I want to note the game looks very, I guess gritty is the word. It looks like Borderlands 3, but like the art direction, or like I guess the color, I don't know the exact words. That is not my forte, but it looks very gritty in a way. It reminds me a lot of like Borderlands 1 almost, just the color aspect, but obviously it does have the look and feel, probably the smooth gameplay of Borderlands 3. But looking at this right here, I mean, these enemies look sick. Like this guy has like one giant arm, almost looks like a badass psycho in a way, with two robotic arms. The surrounding area looks dope. Our Vault Hunter is using what seems to be like a Torgue pistol. They don't actually shoot it, I don't think, in the video. So actually, it looks like they kind of did shoot it right there. Let's go back just a little bit. Okay, they literally shot it for a split second, and it seems to make a little explosion. So maybe Torgue's coming back, or Torgue's somehow going to be on this planet. I assume the weapon manufacturers obviously don't just manufacture weapons to Pandora. Like if they're, I guess intergalactic companies, they can obviously have weapons elsewhere, but I just wanted to point it out. But yeah, overall, this area looks sick. I don't think there's like any lootable things around here. But next up, there's some like bats in the background. This is gonna be our Siren. They're using some sort of like laser Gatling gun, which I imagine probably Maliwan is gonna be the manufacturer of this, unless it's just some like sort of like new thing, or maybe like it's literally just an Iridian weapon. But background wise, I don't think there's anything too specific going on. Just another area of Vault Hunters loading in on a new vehicle. Low-key reminded me of pod racing the first time I saw this. I'm gonna be completely real. But right here, you can actually see the tower. This was actually a tower that was in the first trailer they shown. It was literally just like kind of off in the distance. Obviously, the main thing they were showing was Elpis, but here's the tower, and I guess this is the part of the planet that it's going to be on. And then if we move on, we just have a further look at the area. It kind of almost feels like the wildlife exploitation preserve. It has a very different vibe to the other areas we've seen. But we also see what I assume is our Vault Hunter riding on another card here. Low-key reminds me of a Sparrow. I know that is the third Destiny reference, but like, come on, it looks like they're kind of riding a Sparrow. But it also kind of looks like a motorcycle, obviously. Like, but we got to throw some Destiny references in here. But moving on now, this is another big reveal. Obviously, we have older Zane here. It does seem like his doppelganger actually is still the younger version, which is funny. But Zane's rocking, and he's got the thing on. He looks like an absolute badass. I don't particularly know where he's going to come in the story, but obviously it's going to be at some point. I don't think he's going to be a playable character, even though I know a lot of people would probably like that, even though he was the playable character in Borderlands 3. We have another character here, which I assume is just going to be another story-based character. Bro is also jacked out of his mind. And then we have another new character here, which I again assume is going to be part of the story. She also looks absolutely sick, I must say. The background also looks dope too. We also have another new character here. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, we have Claptrap returning here. I don't think it could be a Borderlands game without Claptrap. I know some people probably didn't want this, but he's back. He's got a little toolbox, or I guess like a toolkit around him. Don't really know what he's going to do in the story, but now we get to the gun section. Now, obviously, there's a lot of guns here. We have, literally pretty much all the rarities. I don't see a blue rarity, but I still think there's going to be blue weapons in the game. You can't really specifically tell what any of these guns are. If you really sit here and take a look at them a while, you can kind of see some resemblance, I guess. But like, there's nothing, I guess, like that stands out too much from the first time. Like, I'm kind of looking at it, like, obviously this white weapon right here kind of looks like a Molly Wand pistol over here. Some low-key have like the Iridian vibe to them that was in Borderlands 3. This, I guess, kind of looks like a Jacob's weapon, but you can't really tell. Over here in the back, it has kind of like the Cutsman blade on it. I mean, it might be the Cutsman, but I don't know how many like returning weapons they're gonna have. I'm sure it'll be a good amount, but obviously I hope there's a bunch of new weapons too. But just looking on the ground right here, like, this green weapon does sort of have like a Jacob's assault rifle vibe to it, kind of like that just one shot at a time thing. I wonder if the manufacturers will still have their own unique things. Like Jacob's obviously would ricochet, Vladoff would have like the double barrel attachments, and Dahl had the select fire, I'm pretty sure. So I wonder if they're gonna actually be able to do things like that in this game. I assume they would. I would hope they would, because Jacob's weapons are just so fun in Borderlands 3 because of that. But again, yeah, you can't specifically tell what any of these are. I imagine because they're probably showing a bunch of the new things off too, but it's Borderlands. There's literally a billion guns. The only thing they didn't show in this trailer was the fact that there is a 1 billion guns that they normally show in every single trailer. I was hoping they were going to show 1 trillion guns, but they didn't even say it. They didn't even say the classic words. But obviously there's an explosion. They're on away from it. We got the cool look here. I do want to rewind real quick because the siren here seemingly has definitely some sort of legendary weapon. Like, this weapon looks absolutely sick. I guess Zero Zane like character, I don't really know what he's running, but this weapon right here, that silver look to it, I don't know if there's gonna be weapon skins or anything, but this looks dope. It almost has like a dragon head on it. Kind of reminds me of a shotgun, maybe like a Cutsman blade, but I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Again, another look here, maybe this is gonna be like the big world here. I mean, this looks massive. Obviously Elpis is cracking up there. We just have our 3 Vault Hunters. Get into some more gameplay here. So this is what I originally was talking about being Sanctuary, but now that we have a gun here, I don't think this is actually going to be Sanctuary. This is sure just going to be a zone that you could actually just I'd probably kill people in. This definitely is some sort of legendary Jacob's weapon. Again, if the manufacturers are going to be a thing, or they're going to carry over from the previous Borderlands games. We do have some sort of lootable thing over here. I'm not sure exactly what this is, but it seems like some sort of magic is going on. So that's pretty neat. And now we're just going to kind of pan to some other things while holding the guns out. This does seem like a mildly on weapon to me. I don't really particularly know. Maybe, I guess kind of TDR, but it has that blue vibe to it. So blue and orange on the sight. So it's for sure probably mildly on. Maybe this is like harnessing the like iridium energy, I guess, from Elpis here. We got to go do something to stop that. Again, kind of our wildlife exploitation preserve here, with another seemingly Molly on weapon. It does have a little fire sight on it, so I guess that does mean Incendiary is coming back, but I think we probably all figured that. I assume all the elements are going to work the same way they've worked in every other game. This is 100% a boss, again, kind of in that scrapyard area. This has a bunch of stuff on it, but every time he slams the ground, like, the earth shatters, which looks absolutely sick. I wish this could be like an acting skill or something. Like, this is dope. Probably gonna have to jump over these to dodge it kind of as the mechanic. I don't really think there's anything going on in the background. There was another green little light that I kind of referenced earlier, which maybe could be like a new use station or something. If I could go back. Okay, there we go. It's definitely some sort of like antenna like thing. I don't know if it's going to be like a checkpoint, or I'm not 100% sure, but got a new enemy here that basically just is shooting out mortars in a way. But it looks absolutely sick. All the new enemy types look so cool. Like, some are clearly references to other things that may legit just be what we've seen on Pandora, but I mean, yeah, some of these look really cool. Moving on here, we have another badass psycho, again with a very small arm, very large arm, which I assume it may literally not be a psycho. I'm not 100% sure. Again, with kind of where we're at, they might have a different name, but obviously it's heavily inspired by that. We do have 2 loot crates back here. If there's one thing, I will point out the loot ammo crates. If we did not, no one else spotted them in the trailer. But again, this just kind of seems like a scene where we're just going to be kind of running through mobbing here. I don't think there's anything crazy. I assume this guy's probably just going to become like a mini boss. I don't particularly see him being a crazy boss. But if we actually look right here in the back, there does seem to be money laid on the ground as well. If we look kind of under his arm right here, I assume that's cash laying on the ground. Maybe it's something else. But if we move on here, these seem to be, at first glance, you might think they would be kind of maybe like friendly, like some sort of, I guess, just other character, but I think these are just enemies kind of just showing off another enemy type here. They look absolutely sick. He seems almost like a mage in a way. Also the background with the whole like orange circle stuff looks cool. Kind of looks like a portal in a way. This is obviously based off of a skag. I don't think it is a skag, but it looks sick. And again, this does also seem to be in that wildlife exploitation reserve area that I was kind of talking about, which is very fitting. Now we have another guy here, which probably is going to be a boss. I mean, maybe this is just like a mini boss. You just see them a lot. Has very military-esque thing, which makes me think doll, but these like razor blades here, like the red blades look dope. There's also just kind of like a normal soldier over here in the bottom left too. The specific place they're at though, it kind of, I'm not 100% sure where this is at. It kind of looks like, it looks a little different than anything else we've seen. I almost want to be like maybe it's like on Elpis or something, but I'm probably cooking a little too hard with that. I don't even, maybe we go to Elpis or something, but this could also just be that same scrapyard area, just like on like an outside version of it, because obviously there's very scrap-esque things here, and I imagine this guy's also probably going to be heavily involved with that faction. Now he does seem to also have some sort of like grappling hook too, and then we go to break free, and as soon as it says break free, we see a grappling hook. I don't think this grappling hook is going to be able to be used everywhere. Like right here, obviously there's a grapple point, kind of like I mentioned earlier. We saw one in one of those like little flash frames that they had. But the fact that grappling hooks are coming is cool. This is going to open up so much more, I guess, like playability with the game. They could probably just work on different traversal sections a lot differently now. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. If you could just use it freely, maybe there's some sort of action skill that lets you do that. That would just be great. But again, also holding what seems to be like a Molly-on weapon. We grapple up here. This almost seems like the same area as the last guy, maybe a little different. It's a lot more grayer and gritty here, but there's obviously some sort of like mage-esque thing. It looks like he summoned a minion, maybe like that. That's kind of what this guy does, and just some sort of just smaller units. But you grapple up here, and right here is where we're gonna have actually be able to see the action skills. Now, before I show that, there does seem to be like a loot bathroom, or like I guess like a loot porta potty like there was in the older Borderlands games, and there's also some like lockers over here. This almost low-key gives Pandora vibes, but like in a way, but again, I don't particularly know if we're going to Pandora. I think we're just solely going to be based on the new planet, but I don't know, maybe there's some clash in between it. But right here, if we go real slow, obviously he throws something here. It's going to hit the ground. It explodes. It's going to cause a singularity, which I assume this is just going to be a grenade. I don't think that's an action skill. I think he's just throwing a grenade. Maybe it is that. Maybe it's just like he's just a pure gadget guy. He can cause essentially a Gersh device if you play Call of Duty Zombies. But right here, this is what I assume the action skill is going to be. But also, I thought this was the tech guy, but now that I'm looking at his hands, this might be the punch guy with his like robotic arm. Well, I don't know. We'll have to see. But obviously, this is going to be an action skill. He has a fire axe. If we do go back right here a little bit, you can see it. Looks absolutely sick. Also, an ice axe, so cryo incendiary. And he throws the ice. Oh, he throws the fire axe, and the cryo axe kind of just disappears, and then it goes black. I'm not 100% sure where this cryo axe is going. But you would imagine like, I don't know. I guess maybe you can only throw one or something. Don't know how the axe skill is going to work. But this is clearly an action skill. Like this is clearly, you pulled out 2 elemental axes. Maybe you can change the elements with augments, and maybe you can make them do some extra stuff. Maybe this one goes flying around, or maybe this is like a reload animation since you threw one. Not 100% sure. But then we have Borderlands 4, the logo. Looks absolutely clean. And then we get one more frame here at the end, where we have basically a dead psycho. The grappling hook that guy, the big guy had, kind of like with the military stuff on, low-key looks like it's on the ground here. And this again is the timekeeper. I don't particularly know what the part they're playing in the story. I don't know who this is. Obviously, we'll learn all this later down the line, but it's interesting that we have a vault symbol here because obviously this could be a vault. There's we have Elpis behind here as well with the thing cracked. But the really interesting part is that obviously he's lighting the vault up right here, but the vault is not Iridian based, it seems, because it is glowing up, I guess, like lightning in a way. So there's definitely a stark difference here. Don't particularly know what this is, but he's clearly powering up. He looks strong. I think Rennie Pitcher even on Twitter was saying like this guy's even stronger than Handsome Jack, because everybody was like, oh, it's Handsome Jack, and he's like, and I think he kind of confirmed it's not Handsome Jack. But and it's like, oh, this guy is way more of a threat, and yada yada yada. But it looks sick. The end frame here with Elpis in the back, the vault powering on wherever it may lead. Like, I don't know if this is the guy maybe like started it all. Not 100% sure, but it looks dope, and I'm excited to see what this is going to be like in game. But then 2025 wish list now, and that is pretty much it. I think that covers just about everything. Again, the biggest question to me still is like who this other faction is. Like, are these people from Pandora, Elpis, or just people that's been here all this time and they're getting ready to fight the other people, their home world essentially? Like, what are we even doing here? Like, what are they here for? I assume this is all Iridian based. But yeah, I think that's about it. Vault Hunters look sick. Again, let me know what Vault Hunter you're going to be playing, depending on just what we've seen so far. I know we haven't seen a lot, but, maybe just all pure aesthetic. And we also did see the axe skill of this guy right here. So just be sure to let me know who you're interested in. I'm definitely probably leaning towards Siren or this melee guy, like I said earlier, but we will just have to wait and see. And Gearbox, please release the skill trees as soon as you can so I can start speculating and put a ton of videos out. I literally cannot wait to read all the skill trees. That will for sure decide who I'm going to play. But anyway, though, let me know what y'all think about this trailer down below. We did turn the 224 into my recording. It says I'm at 33 minutes. I'm sure if I chop this down, probably going to be, 20 plus, maybe 25 plus. We'll see. Anyway, though, enough yapping for me. I want to thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope y'all have a great day. Peace.